So, okay, guys, now we have to discuss MCQs number 21, and we have to move fast because these are straightforward MCQs. When there's some difficulty, that I will take time here, but probably I will go for the straight move. Now, what is the purpose of general ledger in a business? And it's very simple that why we are using the general ledger, and the purpose is to store all double entries and individual ledger accounts. So the option number B is the correct one because the general ledger contains all double entries that have been recorded in individual ledger account for the asset, liability, capital, income, or expenses. The second MCQ is 22nd MCQ is what is T count, and the context of general ledger. T count is like this T shape, and this is the graphic representation of the ledger account, right? Now here is another MCQ to the 23, and that is, wait a minute, that is what is the double entry for sale of goods where payment is received immediately. Mean this is a cash transaction, and that case you will have to debit your cash or your bank, and credit will be the same, right? Okay, now the option, yes, this option is correct. Now let's move on. 24. What is the double entry when a business receive payment from credit customer? So when you are receiving, when you do some credit transaction, then you will create a receivable for that customer. So when you are getting the money from their customer, then definitely your asset that is receivable should be credited. It means that it should be reduced. And on the other hand, you are receiving money, so your bank will be debit. Clear? So here you see debit is the bank and credit as receivable. You see, receiving payment from credit customers means increase in cash, so the debit will be the bank, mean the asset, and reduce receivable, that is a credit receivable is also an asset. So both of the asset, one asset is increasing and other asset is decreasing. Now let's move on to the question 25. What is the double entry for purchase of material paid in cash? When you are purchasing things and you are paying cash, so definitely your purchase will be debit, and you are paying cash, credit will be the cash. So here you see the material as debit and credit as bank or cash, right? So here you see purchasing material and cash. Increase material with debit material and or an expense or an asset, and decreases and cash. So it may be you can also regard as an expense, or you can also regard as an asset. So both in both cases, both should be debit when they are increasing. 26. What is the double entry when a business make payment to a credit supplier? So when you have credit supplier, that means you have credit payable, you have created liability. And let's say you have purchased something. Now you want to pay this customer or this supplier, then that payable will be debit because your liability is decreasing, and credit will be your cash or paying because you are paying the money. Your asset will be decreased. Great. Now paying credit supplier reduce the liability in debit payable and reduce cash, and that is your bank balance. Now here you see 27. What is the double entry of the payment of wages and cash? So you know that wages is your expenses, and when you pay in cash, that means your expenses increases, and definitely you are paying cash, so your asset is also expenses increasing and asset decreases, so debit will be the expense and credit will be cash. And usually your wages expenses increases, so that will be debit, and credit will be the bank because your cash is reducing. Okay, let's move on 28. That is what is the accounting equation is correct. This one is you see asset minus liability, you will have capital. This is the correct accounting equation. Here now 29. In the following is the following statement correct? So the main principle of the bookkeeping to ensure that the accounting equation always balance, and this is the correct statement because the bookkeeping every debit has an equal opposite credit. Ensure that the accounting equation is balanced. It's not about correctness, it's about balance. Okay. Here, what can a business immediately determine with a cash ledger in the general ledger? So the cash balances in the business. So the cash ledger will give the overview of the cash balances in the business is mentioned in the data. Clear? So here 31 is what is the primary focus of financial accounting. This is another topic executed here. So financial accounting is basically a systematic regarding analysis of the financial transaction, and we have discussed this in a very detail in the previous lectures. Now, financial accounting focuses on systematic regarding reporting analysis of a business financial transaction, primarily historical in nature. Okay, now we have 32. What is the main purpose of financial reporting? Why we are doing financial reporting? The reason is to produce financial statement for publication outside the business for external user, and this is the purpose of the financial reporting. Financial reporting focusing on producing financial statement for external publication, ensuring that compliance with accounting standard and regulation. 33 is about what type of accounting focuses on identifying and getting cost to product and service. And we have discussed that will be your cost accounting job. Clear? Cost accounting is focusing on identifying costs, their allocation to products, services, inventories, or other items to determine the cost of providing the goods services. Right? 34 MCQs is related to the characteristic of management accounting, management accounting, and that is it provide information for internal user by the manager. So this is one of the characteristics of management accounting, that they're providing information to the internal user, that is the manager. So management accounting focuses on providing information for internal user by manager to help the organization of work more effectively. 35, which type of accounting uses both fast and future data, and that will be your management accounting, because they are focusing on both for past and future data, because there you are doing budgeting, you're doing forecasting. So this is the thing. Okay, now memory accounting both fast because it's decision making, organizational efficiency. Here, now 36, which type of accounting is required by law, and that is your financial accounting. That is why we are using IFRS accounting standard when you are reporting the financial statement to the external user. So for that reason, you have to follow which type of accounting is required by law. So this is required by law, that you have to produce financial statement and using a standard proper standard. Financial is required by law for the company as it shows the systematic recording reporting of the financial transaction for external users. So the element of external element give us the idea that this should be for the this is by law. Now, what is the key difference between financial accounting and management accounting? We have discussed this in a brief detail, but here we have to look for the option that financial accounting is required by law. We have discussed earlier, but management accounting is not required by law because this is your internal matter. So this is not the concern of the law, and this is for the stakeholder. External element is here, so that is why the law required you to use like this. Now, financial accounting is required by law. If you don't use management accounting, not required, is not mandated. Now, MCQ number 38. Who is the primary audience of the information produced by financial reporting? So, external stakeholder and readers are the primary audience, right? Because they are produced basically for external stakeholders. Clear? You see here, financial reporting produce financial statement for publication outside the business and external stakeholder like investors and regulators. So now here in GQs we have 39, that is which type of accounting produce information that is typically commercially sensitive, and that is management accounting, because these information are computational, they are for the progress of your company. So you have to not leak out information, because if you do, then the computer will take advantage of it. That is why it's commercially sensitive. Here. Now you see here, information commercially is not made available to the external party and it is used internally by managers. MCQ number 40. What is the common requirement for financial statement to produce and financial reporting? So they must comply with accounting standard and regulation, and that is IAS, IFRS. These standards, they have to follow the standards when they are producing the financial reporting, financial statement. So financial statement and financial reporting must comply with applicable accounting standard and regulation, ensure consistency and accessibility for the external reader, right? Great. Now let's move on to MCQ number 41. What is the primary purpose of computerizing accounting software in a business? So the answer is that to process the transaction, create documents, and produce information, and that is why we have the computerized software, and that's the primary use for the processing transaction, creating documents. Now let's move on to 42. What is record in the context of computerized accounting software? We have discussed that in a very detail. It is a set of data related to one unit of information that will be your record. A record is a file consists of data related to one unit information, such as supplier account and the payable ledgers, made of several fields. So we have also discussed the fields. Now, which of the following executive number 4 is giving the following example of the key field in computerized accounting systems. And a key field in accounting, we call it a unique supplier code. So option B is the correct one. Great. Now let's move on. Question number 44. What does real-time processing mean in computerized accounting systems? So ledger are updated immediately upon entering transaction, and we call that is real-time processing. So real-time processing means ledger are updated immediately when transactions are entered, ensuring that up-to-date information in the modern system. Let's move on to the 45, and this MCQs is related to the how does integrated accounting software benefit a business. So it links different modules to update relevant accounts and records. So integrated by integrators means that they are just linking the accumulated different modules, payable, inventory, so transaction update, all the accounting. So when the transaction happen here, then the other accounts that are related to this one should also be updated, and that is called integrated accounting software. Clear? Great. Now we have MCQ number 46. What is the advantage of computerized over manual system in terms of accuracy? You have to see this accuracy word. So they enforce accountancy rules such as double entry recording, and that is the benefits, or you can say over that of the manual system. So computerizing system enforce accountancy rules such as ensuring both double entry transaction are recorded and doing accuracy over the manual method. Clear? 47 which of the following reports are typically be generated by computerized account software, and age receivable reports are typically generated by computerized accounting software. Okay, now computerized account software can generate standard report like age receivable, inventory valuation, trial balance, and management accounting. And here we have discussed that age receivable is the report that is generated by us. Now 48, you see what is the master file computerized accounting system. So master file is basically a file that contain a standing data like supply name, address. They mean they are in static form. They are not changed. They are not dynamically working. They are just they are static form, they are standing data, and they are very rarely updated, because this may not happen that every month or every year the company change their name or addresses. So must be the standing reference data, supply name, addresses, and computer transaction data like year packet. Now here 49, what is the key benefit of the speed and efficiency of the computerized accounting system? So they automate calculation and reduce the need of duplicated entry. Okay, the key benefit of the speed and efficiency of the computerized account system is that they are automated calculation. They reduce the need for duplicated entries, right? Okay, here computerized automated calculation use link between the modules to reduce duplication in entries, making data processing quicker and more efficient. Now let's move on to the question number 50. Wait a minute. How does the availability of computerized accounting system benefit a business? So they ensure they allow multiple user and different location to access the same account, and that is the benefit for the business availability accounting system, that everyone can access from different locations. Okay, this is the part second of MCQs, chapter number 2, and we have 80 MCQs in total. So in the next video, we'll discuss the 30 more MCQs related to this. Okay, thank you for watching.